Alright, well, this is going to be my second Prism Tube camera test drive. Quite different this time. Taking the Goldwing, and I'm going to take my most common Wainwright riding loop just when I want to get out, say after supper, and get a quick ride in. I very often do this loop. We'll see what happens with the camera. I have changed the position of the microphone. Hopefully it'll pick up a bit better. As well as, of course, this is a much quieter bike, both in terms of wind noise and exhaust note. So that should make a difference. Of course, you can see an awful lot of the dashboard of the bike because it's so much bigger. But we'll see how that goes. Got to get some gas here today. I could probably do the loop on the gas I have, but who likes to think about gas the whole time while you're riding? I don't. So we'll just fill her up. Also, it's a cloudy day today. Last time it was quite sunny, so we'll see how the camera performs in this weather. And I've upped it to 60 frames per second. I don't know why the app's not working. That seems pretty silly, but I'm gonna go anyways. All right, here we go. Seems weird, I can't connect my camera, so that means I can't tell if my camera is mounted correctly with the horizon. It says it will connect when network quality improves. I generally know what that means, but in this case I don't know how you improve it. The camera itself is producing the Wi-Fi network. Oh well, we'll enjoy the ride. This is really actually about perfect weather. It's not too hot to wear gear, and it's warm enough that once you put the protective gear on and jackets, get moving, it feels good. being two street bikes, you couldn't be much different than this one and the other one. This one has 3 times the engine capacity, probably at least 3 times the wind and weather protection. The other one's much more playfully minded. Kind of encourages you to get on the throttle and shift gears and be a little bit aggressive. And Goldwing is just so laid back. Just put it on cruise control and enjoy the scenery and the sights and the smells. Sometimes put on some music and just let it play. But I find it very strange that it won't connect to the camera. Was connected in the garage, but now it won't. I don't think I've ever actually timed this ride. I guess now I'll have this timestamps on the camera mode. Tell me exactly how much time it takes, and I'm not speeding today, just set it on cruise. I think I've got the microphone and speaker properly installed on my helmet so they can stay right where they are. I can unplug them when I take the camera off the helmet. Never realized how often I lift my shield and scratch my nose or something until I was watching it on camera. A couple of little things. So small vibrations, and a lot of times just a tiny bit of wind that gets inside the helmet, I think, makes my nose itchy. Particularly if I got a bit of allergies going on. Now those yellow speed signs are always a little bit challenging. If you're driving a U-Haul or a truck of that type, you really want to pay attention to them and go the speed it says. You're going to get yourself in trouble. If you're driving a car, very often it really doesn't matter. You can just keep your same speed, but now and then you get one that really you do need to slow down. On a motorbike it's even different yet. Most of the time when you see that 85 sign or 70 sign in yellow, you want to speed up a little bit, because the corners are going to be much more fun with more lane angle. But every once in a while you get one that surprises you, and you have to, you find out you've come in too hot, and that's not fun at all. But I suppose so far I've been able to adjust, never gone off the road or anything like that. I know from the days way back just after high school when I was working on the survey crew that it's really, I can still tell whether a corner is properly designed, because when you design a corner and stake it out for the construction, road construction crew to build the road, you actually have to do at least a 3 radius corner. So what that means is, at the heart of the corner, you have the radius of the actual turn, maybe 90 degrees, or 45, or whatever the actual corner is. But of course, if you do the whole corner, if you build the whole corner at that radius, people entering the corner in cars will just go flying off the side of the road. You have to do a much gentler radius for the entry and exit to the corner than in the center of the corner. And if you get those calculated wrong, you create a very dangerous situation. And it's surprising when you know that, and know how it's done and have surveyed them out. When you're driving down the road, you can tell if it's been properly designed. A lot of times you think as you're going around a corner that you're just not paying attention, and all of a sudden you're running wide or narrow or something like that. Very often it's the road design. It's just how it wasn't designed properly, and so your vehicle's natural tendencies, you're working against that, the physics of it, and your human response times and visual fields and stuff like that also play an effect, because as you're approaching the corner, you have kind of a visual idea of what the corner is going to be. And then if the designers didn't create the right radius and make it gradual or something like that, you get into the corner and it turns out to be different than what your perception was. It's actually quite complicated, and there's formulas, and you got to go way out in the field and mark a stake, and then you got to, I mean, you don't actually use a string, but you could tie a string to the stake way out in the field, and then go to where the road's going to be and draw the extent of the string for one radius, and then you reposition the stake and draw another one or 2 or 3 till you get a nice gentle curve that gets you where you want to go. Of course, nowadays it's not done with the string like that. It's done with a calculator and an elevation level and different instruments. But that's the way it works. I'm always interested in that kind of stuff. Of course, sometimes there's obstacles like a body of water or something like that, and you just can't make the ideal corner. You have to use the space you have, and then you end up with those signs that say 85, meaning this corner wasn't designed the way we hoped to. We would have liked to make it a little bit different, but you better slow down a little, or at least pay attention. I guess it's like that in all kinds of things in life, isn't it? You might think you're going to do a certain thing, and when you get in the middle of it, it turns into something else. Or you might make a plan, like on a blueprint for a road, and then get out in the field and find out that the plan doesn't really quite work in the actual situations. But most often it's applicable just in the fact that life throws you curves, and sometimes the curves change in the middle of the curve, and you got to make adjustments or you're going to crash. That's the thing, the biggest noticeable difference about a big engine. It's not in the actual riding. I mean, once you get up to speed and are going along at the highway speed, the little 500 will cruise at that speed just comfortably and nicely, just as good as this one. But with this one, if you're cruising along at 100, 110, and you take this hand here and you twist the throttle, you speed up fairly quickly. You can really feel the acceleration, whereas the smaller engine, you have to plan a pass or something a little bit more carefully. I'm going to try and get my thing to work again. Nope, it's not picking up the network. Alright, guess we won't look at the picture on the screen as we're driving today. It's probably better that way, but I'm just trying to figure out exactly how the camera has to sit in the clamp in order to get a nice horizontal horizon. Guess I we'll only know when I look at the video afterwards today. About to turn the choke off. There's a deer on the road. I bet you can't really see that on the camera. Maybe I'll be close enough in the field that I can get a video of him. Her, probably a her. Just gonna slow down in case there's another one. Although this time of year there usually is just one. Where did she go? Nope, can't see her. Nice view from here. Ooh, if that stuff was fresh, it'd be slippery. From a pig farm, I think. It's incredible how quickly that canola sends up flowers. Look at that yellow already. Soon we'll have the beautiful checker mark fields all over the place. Guess I'm tired of talking. kind of funny. This stretch of road is the same straight and the same length as the one on the other end of this ride. For some reason, I find this part much more boring. And it doesn't even matter which direction I go. If I go the other way around, I can hardly wait till I get down to the river valley. And after that, the ride seems more interesting. Maybe it's because we drive this road more often. It's a big hawk. You know, the other day, where was I going? Yeah, when I went to Brock's graduation party, I saw whooping cranes. There's a whole bunch of them. Well, by a whole bunch, I mean probably 10 to 20 in a pond, in a slough off the road. One of them was just flying in and landing. The others had already arrived when I drove by. I haven't seen whooping cranes for a long time. They're sure big, impressive birds. They must have been on their way north to their nesting grounds, way up above the tree line. Well, one of the success stories, they thought they were down to probably 12 or between 12 and 30 total whooping cranes in the whole world. And then with cooperation between the United States and Canada, they created protected and patrolled flight corridor for their migration and protection on both ends, their summer breeding grounds and their winter feeding grounds. And then they did a sandhill crane program where they would, out of each nest in the wild up in Northwest Territories, they would leave 2 or 3 eggs and take 2 or 3 eggs, and then they would hatch the 2 or 3 eggs they took in an incubator and put them in a sandhill crane nest. So then the sandhill cranes would raise the whooping cranes, and the whooping cranes would go south with the sandhill cranes and come north again with the sandhill cranes. And that way they established breeding populations with different migration routes and different breeding and wintering areas so that there's more diversity. And it's still a very fragile population, but it's off the endangered list now. There's enough whooping cranes in Canada to, unless something happens, which obviously could very easily, they will expect it to survive and continue to increase their population. And I saw about 15 of them just the other day. Did not have the camera yet, so no pictures. It will be very interesting to see how much I actually use this camera in the future. I am planning to do a YouTube channel or program where I do take a Bible passage and just talk about it as I ride. And the name I'm thinking is Moto Devo, Motorcycle Devotionals. It's kind of why I wanted a camera, actually. I've been thinking about doing that for a long time. So we'll see. I think I've got my first passage picked out. And after doing these test videos, so I kind of get the systems all working properly, I'll probably do that. The hardest part will probably be finding interesting places to ride so that the scenery as I talk is varied from devotional to devotional. But as I said on the first video, it's very difficult to talk. It takes a lot of getting used to talk while riding. But I think that would be quite easy, because just to take a Bible passage and walk through it is something I'm so used to doing. I can do that very naturally without having to think too much about it. The thing is, for many motorcyclists, it's a spiritual experience, Christian and non-Christian, other faiths, or even people who are basically agnostic or even atheists. They still find it to be a spiritual experience. You can't really read any motorcycle magazine for more than a few issues, and there's going to be an article or an editorial that talks about the zen of motorcycling, or the meditation, or the psychological health benefits. There's even research into that to show that motorcycles have significant psychological health benefits. So I want to explore that a little bit with the camera. So hopefully the mic is picking up better where I have it positioned now. And maybe in the editing software I can figure out how to reduce the wind noise a bit, and I can get to the place where I'm putting that out. I will probably be the only person that ever watches them, but hey, gotta do what you find fun and interesting. And that sounds fun and interesting to me. So, as is my normal habit, if I have time at this point in this little 20-minute or so loop, I will pull into Tim Hortons. I actually like McDonald's coffee better, but McDonald's Wi-Fi is very, very inconsistent right now. And I want to take a look at this video and figure out why my Wi-Fi isn't working on my camera. So Tim Hortons it is. So listen up, McDonald's, fix your Wi-Fi if you want my business. And there we go. Hopefully it was recording.